So we have talked about some CSS features. We have talked about like borders. We have talked about like the pictures. We have talked about the text and everything. And there have been a lot of discussions related to all these kind of things. But today, what we are discussing, or we are starting, is that we have to discuss a very important part of CSS that I have not covered as yet, and that is called the box model. So for the topic for this, today's class is basically CSS box model. And by the way, this box model is basically the most important consideration when you talk about the CSS. It's an important consideration, CSS box model. So we'll talk about that. So today I won't be working on this document anymore. I will be having a new document, and I will talk about that. So style.index.css, we won't be working on that one. Rather, we'll create a new file, and I'll call it July 15 with our date today, HTML, and July 15.css. So we'll have one CSS over here that we will work on, and we will have one July that one, right? Okay. So typically speaking, we will be talking about the box model today. So let's pre-cook our document and make this boilerplate. And here you would like to talk about CSS box model, right? So let's make it a heading as well over here so that we know what we are doing. Right, and we have one CSS which is not connected right now, and I can connect it very easily after coming over here, and I can connect it by using this one. So I'll say July 15.css. Make sense, everyone? So we have a boilerplate ready, and now we can just start discussion on this CSS box model. So to discuss on CSS box model, I will first like to show you the box model from any of the site. So let's talk about this W3 school sites. This is CSS box model. So all elements can be considered as boxes in CSS. That's a very important consideration. Whatever elements are there in our HTML document, they all can be considered as the box. What is a box? In CSS, the term box model is used when talking about design and layout. We're talking about the design and layout of the elements. The CSS box model is essentially a box that wraps around every HTML element. It consists of 4 things: margins, borders, padding, and actual content. What does that mean? So they say that CSS box model is essentially a box that wraps around every HTML element. So whatever HTML element we create on our document, that represents a box in itself. So I'll go to this document and I'll just create maybe some more text. This is some text, right? This is paragraph, or maybe let's take an H2 over here as well. Explanation of the model, right? So we are talking about explanation. So I'll just run this file, and I would like to show you something before practically implementing that. So this is my document. And you know that this is a very normal document. There is no styling being applied. Let's just to check that my this is connected to this one or not. So I always do that. Background color equal to blue, very bad blue. I just check that. Yes, it is connected, right? So I don't want to have blue background. That really looks very bad. So this is my document. So this concept says that every element, every HTML element is actually referred to as a box. And here is the diagram given for that one. That box has these 4 sections in that itself. The first section is the content, the real content that comes into that one. And I'll show you this box very clearly in our program. I'll show you this all boxes over here. But first of all, let's see. So the most important inner part is basically called as the content, the main content of the document. The content of the box where the text and images appear. So text and images, everything will appear over here. Then there comes the concept of a padding. What is the padding? Clears an area around the content. It's basically something that clears our content from something which is called border, which is our next thing. But anyhow, just consider padding is applying some pad inside that so that my content becomes, my contents have some area to breathe on the left and right side. I'll talk about that. Third is the border. A border is what? A border is typically a border that goes around the padding. So this is called the border. So every element has a border also going around it, and we can just use that. Then there is a margin. Margin is clear, and area outside of the border, the margin is transparent. So this margin and padding are transparent. Padding and margin both are transparent. Border is something that is visible, and we have worked on that border, by the way, but I'll just explain you a lot more now. Now, to consider, so content, padding, border, and margin. So content is the main content. Padding is something around the content, or you can say between the border and the content. And margin is something which is between this element and the other elements. And I'll see that. I'll show you that. What does that? If you open up your inspector in this document, and I will, for the timing, I'll close the code because I want to show you some nice things. So I'll close the code. So if you see that if in my HTML, this is my elements, if I go and select this CSS box, you see it gets a very weird type of color, it's like a blue color is appearing, and then a light orange color appearing up front and upward and down. I don't know what is this, but I would like to show you where you can find what is this. If you select any element on your page, from this one, so here comes the style of that typical element. Now, if you see here that there are different things, and I'll talk about everything. But if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll find that this is the box representing that H1 that I have selected on that. Now, let's talk about this. This is called content, the blue area. By mistake, I've selected H2. So this is called, the blue area is called the text area or the content area where content will come. There is something called a padding, which is not visible, which is transparent, and which is right now dash, 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 dash is representing a 0 over here, right? After padding, there is a border. Border is also 0. You see dash, 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 dash. Border is also 0. There is no border around that. And the last one is margin. If you see, margin is of light orange color. And if you see that on the top, the border is 21.4 pixel, and at the bottom 24 pixel. But this is 0 and 0 on the left and right side. And do you see my H1? That H1 shows border is at the top, not border. The margin is at the top and the bottom, but it is not on the right and left side. Does that make sense to everyone? This is the box model that we are representing. Now, we have got a very nice feature over here, element.style. If I come over here, and for example, let's start with something called a border. If I say border, and if I write 1 pixel, and I say solid, there are different shapes of border, solid green. Hit enter. Now, are you guys getting that? I have applied one pixel border. Now see the box model. Do you see that there is a 1 pixel border around now my document? And I can see that border as well, green color. I have applied that in green color. It's coming as a green color. Does that make sense? So border is something that I have highlighted now. This is the border, and it's 1 pixel long. You know what I mean? Okay. Then let's talk about the padding. Padding is something between the content and the border. So if I come over here and I say padding, if I just give a random number, 10 pixel, padding 10 pixel. Do you look at my output, what has happened? And I'll show you that. You see my text has now more breathing space inside that one. And if you look at the box model, you will find that I applied all 10 side, all 10 side has been applied a padding of 10 pixels. Do you guys understand this box model now? This is the content. Content is the blue area, and this is padding now, which is showing a green color, but it's basically not green color. It's transparent, by the way. Then I have a border. Border is something which is visible. The only thing remaining is the margin that I'll talk about shortly. But do you understand that now it has a 10 padding around that? It has a 1 of border on around that, and it has some margin over and let I don't know about that. Make sense, everyone? Now it has a margin of 21.4 at the bottom. If I increase that bottom, so I can increase everything. So if I say margin bottom, we can go to the specific one. If I say margin bottom is equal to 100 pixel. Do you know what I've done? I've intentionally done that. 100 pixel means now everything has gone 100 pixel. Why? Because you see that now the bottom margin is 100 pixel. Kirandeep, are you getting that? 100 pixel. I've applied that 100 pixels. So it means it has just teared apart, like it has said that between myself and my other document at the bottom, other element at the bottom, there should be 100 pixel of space. Is that making sense to everyone other than Kirandeep as well? This is basically the box model, and so it's a very, very important box model. Okay, if I say no, 100 pixel looks very bad, so I'll say okay, just close this margin. I don't want this margin. Now, if you see, now if I do something else, if I come over here and I say margin 0, if I say margin 0, now come here. Do you see that all that light orange area has gone now, and my heading looks like very much stuck to the top, stick to the bottom. Exactly, Kirandeep. 21.4 is the default top and bottom margin for that. Yes, you're right. It is basically a default top and bottom margin, right? So we can use this box model to play with different kind of things, But you guys understand this box? We have not worked anything on the CSS. It is just all temporary. If I click on this one, everything goes away. But I again show you. If I go to the H1 and I say that I want to have a border of 10 pixel solid yellow, something like that. You see 10 pixel border has appeared. Now that the content look like very tight inside that one. So I will say, okay, I want to make that content a bit more, spacey, or I want to have some space inside the box. What I'll say padding inside, go and apply a padding of 10 pixel inside. You see, now my content look a bit more relaxed. Kirandeep, is that making sense? Now the padding is inside space. And if I come over here and if I say that I want to have a margin, like I want to have a margin, general margin, and I want to have, for example, 20 pixel margin on all sides. If I say 20 pixel, you say it is 20 pixel from the left here, 20 pixel dot, and the 20 pixel from the bottom. And it was already 25. It was already 21.4. Now it is 20 pixel from all sides. You can see that. So now this box of H1 represents very interesting picture. It says there is a 10 pixel padding on side. There is a border of 10 pixel on all sides. There is a margin of 20 pixel on all sides. Now, this can be a very interesting ploy. What does that mean? I can handle my elements on my document by using their CSS. So now I'll come over here and again I'll refresh that. Now I'll go to my CSS document. I have this H1. So right now I'm just considering this H1, and but we can use different selectors. I have used different selectors. So if I say border 2 pixel solid red, if I say that, if I hit save, so wherever H1 is, it will just generate a 2 pixel border around that H1. If I have multiple H1s in my document, I hope you understand that. If I just copy that again, if I have multiple, so wherever H1 will come, because I am applying a H1 style, and you know that we can apply very specific style to the ID or the class as well. Okay, I want to say for H1, width is very much, it's going all the way to the page. Width should be equal to, for example, 400 pixel, something like that. If I hit save, you see my all H1s are now only the content, or the H1 is only 400 pixel width wide. Make sense, everyone? Now inside content look very, very tight to the lines. So I'll come over here and I'll say, for example, if I say 20 pixel, just for nothing, if I say 20 pixel, if I hit that save, you see now how good it looks like look to me. How good means now how spacious it is. Okay, so sometimes you will say no. Now here comes a very important concept. Sometimes you will say, I want to have padding, but I just want to have padding on the left side. For example, on the left side and on the top, or maybe on the left side. So we have this option that I can apply a padding on the left only. If I say padding left 20 pixels, see here what happens on my document. Only from left my CSS has gone ahead. Otherwise, rest of the contents, like no padding on the top and no padding on the bottom. So if I say now I want a padding on the top as well. So I want to have a 20 pixel padding on the top as well. hit save, it will only have padding on the top and on the left, not on the right and not on the bottom. Is that making sense? Now, so it means that we can have multiple values. And I'm taking you to somewhere very interesting. Top, and if I say right, which might not be visible over here because the contents are already over here. So there is no, it is not visible. So if I say padding, bottom is equal to 20 pixel, for example. Now you see that my contents are all from that website. Is that making sense? Now, rather than writing these 4 values separately, CSS provides us a way of writing them in a single statement or multiple, like maximum of 2. What is that? If I write padding 20 pixels, so again for the time being, if I hit save, so there is no padding, like there is no padding inside that. Now if I come over here and I say padding 20 pixel, what does that mean? Can anyone tell me? From all sides it should apply 20 pixels. Is that making sense to everyone? That's wonderful. If I say, let's start with 10 pixel. So I want to apply 10 pixel border, 10 pixel padding on all sides. So 10 pixel, all sides it should be 10 pixel. Now, if I say after 10 pixel, if I say, for example, 20 pixel and just hit save, I need you to just, focus on what's happening. If I do that, something has happened. Rather than let me just give it a background color and I'll show you. So let me just give it a background color, a very light color, so that we can just see some effects. So now I'll show you something. So 10 pixel means all sides 10 pixel. Now see here, if I say 10 pixel, and if I say 20 pixel, and if I say 5 pixel, and if I say, for example, 5 pixel, something like that. So you know what has happened? You will know that. The first, so again, let's see it's because I have applied that in the code, and it means that it will be now available in the box model. So let's see the box model and try to understand what's going on. So I'll open it up. So you see here, if I go to my H1, this is my H1, and I come over here and I try to look at this one. So you see that margin is default 21.4, 21.4. But do you see that it has a 2 pixel border? And what about padding? You see that it has padding left is 5, padding top is 10, padding right is 20, padding bottom is 5. Are you guys getting that one? What I'm talking about? So you see that, you can see in the highlighted diagram as well. So it is 5 from left and bottom, and 10 and 20 from top and right. So how do we know what are the different values for that one? And I'll just show you over here. If I say, okay, just close the padding for a second. I want to work with padding. I want to play with padding. If I apply padding and I say 10 pixel and I keep all other 0, 0, 0, 0. Can you tell me where it has been applied? The padding has been applied on which side? If I just come over here. Do you see the green part only? Only top. It means the first value represents the top value. Are you guys getting that one? So I'll come over here and I'll write that in your notes. So for example, if I'm writing padding, so the first value represents top. Does that make sense, everyone? Now, what about the others? If I say no, I don't want it 10, I want this one to 0. Sorry. Oh my God. Okay, so I say this one is 0, but and you may not write pixel with 0. And if I say 10 pixel on this second value. So now if you see, where has it been applied? Do you see that only the right side? It means the second value that comes is the right, top right. It is going in a clock or anti-clockwise. I will ask you later on. Okay, then you come over here and you say no, it should be 0, and this should be 20 pixel. Right? Hit enter. Where do you see applied? Where do you see that it is applied? At the bottom. So it means that the next value is for the bottom. And of course, what is left? The left is remaining. Are you guys getting that? So if you provide 4 values, it means the first value is for top, then right, then bottom, then left. Is that making sense to everyone? If I come over here, and if I say, so it means that you see that you will read that top, right, bottom, left. So you will say top 10 pixel, right 20 pixel, bottom 5 pixel, left 5 pixel. And there is another shortcut way of writing that one. If you have just 2 values that you want to apply for the left side or for the right side, just for that reason, what you can just give 2 values. And I'll show it over here first of all. So if I come in the padding, rather than writing 4 values, if I say no, just remove that and I say 5 pixel, 10 pixel. Who will tell me what has happened? 5 pixel, 10 pixel. Now see here. 5 pixel, 10. The first 5 pixel represent top and bottom, and second 10 pixel represent left and right. So Shar, is that making sense? So it means if I write over here, that padding is equal to, if I give 2 values only, not padding, it's padding. So padding is equal to, if I give 2 values, so top bottom is the first value, and right left is the second value. So I can even give this like this as well. So I can give 2 values. So I say, I'll come over here and I say padding. So if I say 10 pixel and 20 pixel, what do I mean? Can anyone tell me? What do I mean? I mean that top bottom should be 10 pixel, top and bottom, and 20. And please remember this for all padding. And I was talking about the margin and everything. Everything basically is covered in that one. So anything that you provide 2 values, it will be top, bottom, left, right. And if you just provide that, it says top, bottom, top. Am I saying right? Yeah, top, right, bottom, left. So it's top, right, bottom, left. Top, right, bottom, left. Let me just take my marker. Top, right, bottom, and left. What is this? Clockwise or anti-clockwise? Yeah, it's clockwise, So it's basically going in the clockwise. So it's a clockwise direction. So remember that one for all the values, right? So we can do this with virtually any of the element that we have. We can just do this with anything, and that will be quite an interesting ploy, because we will be just working on that one. So you see that now my H1 looks like a very, very interesting one. My H1 is looking like this one. And if you see, I have not talked about the margin as yet. So you see on the left side, it is very much stick to this starting. You know what I mean? If I come over here and if I say margin and margin left, let's talk about margin left, 10 pixel. Hit save. Are you guys understanding what has happened? Margin left 10 pixel. It has just switched from the 10 pixel from the left. If I say margin top and I say margin top 100 pixel, something like that, you see from top it has gone 100 pixel downwards. Right? And now if I say no, 100 pixel looks bad, I say margin bottom should be 100 pixel. So again, now it will go to the top, but it will not allow anything in like after that one, and there will be nothing after this one for the longer period of this. Right? Are you guys getting that one? So this is typically what our box model, and we can play with this box model. There are lots of things that we can always play with that one. And let me see what else I want to show you over here with the box model. Yeah, so I have my notes. I'll just open up my notes here. Okay, yeah. So what else I want to discuss with the box model? Okay, yes. So I want to discuss some more practice things over here. Okay, now come back over here. So this is the explanation. So we have talked about this box model, and for the time being, I am just I would like it to be maybe just do not define the style, because I want to apply some more interesting things over here. Now let's come inside that one and let's do one more thing. Into our HTML, I will come over here and I will create a main section. You remember our main section, which is our very much our HTML. I want to create a main section. Main section means that I am creating a, you remember that semantic main section, and it has multiple sections over here with different IDs. Section 1, because I would like to show you here very interesting one, how you will handle all these kind of things. So if I say section and 2, I want to create this section 2, and then I want to create another section here, section 3. Makes sense, everyone? We have 3 sections over here, and they are all inside the main. So we would like to just work on these stylings of these this one, and here I will introduce a very important display algorithm that we might not that you would have not seen, and today we'll just see that what are those model that we will be just implementing over here, and after implementation we will just work on that one. Okay, so we have got this main section which has 3 sections. Make sense, everyone? So I will go to this main section first of all. For example, I will first of all go to this main section and we'll try to work on this main section. So I go to this main section. So main is what? It's a tag itself, so I can use a selector. In the main section, just do what? Apply a border of maybe 3 pixel solid green. So just make a border around the main. Make sense, everyone? And make its width 500 pixels, something like that. Maybe a bit smaller than that one, right? Okay. Now the main is done. I just don't want to work on main, so I just given this is complete main over here. Now I want to work on sections, because sections are there. The section tag is there. So if I work on a section tag, if I want on a section only, I write section, and I want to say, for example, section also has a border 1 pixel solid. For example, let's take black. Let's say black looks a bit weird here. If I make it red, let's talk about red. So every section has a border of red now, right? Let's apply a background color. Any light color, maybe azure. This does not look very good, very pretty. Let's take any other white smoke. Let's see. That also. Okay, that's fine, maybe. Okay, the text color, maybe I want to change the text color as well. So I'll say text color, maybe violet, something like that. Okay, so we are trying to make a real rainbow here. Okay, so there is a very important algorithm that we want to discuss in the CSS box model. I always discuss that one, and that model is called flex box model. Flex box, yeah, or we call it flex model, right? So we have something called a flex model. I want to discuss it over here, right? And to apply flex model, what we do, we see the container of these 3 main sections. The container of these 3 main sections, the 3 sections is basically the main. So I will go to the main styling, and I will say over here, display flex. Apply a display value of flex. Like I want to have a flexible display over here. You see, when I hit save, what happens? My all 3 sections come over here, and I would like to show you this flex box model. So flex box model. What is this flex box model? CSS flex box layout model. Before the flex layout model, there were 4 layout models. Before this one, there was block, inline, table, position. We'll talk about block and inline as well. But flex box model does what? It layout model makes it easier to design flexible, responsive layout structure without using float or positioning. It is there for the float, like the adaptive or responsive values. So basically what it does is that it basically gives us this feature that when I just start stretching my document, we are moving towards. So right now it is just not moving, and I'll just show you that how we can just move that one. But remember that typically speaking, that flex model or the flexbox model is basically used for what? For making flexible environments, for making flexible UI. And I would show you that what does that mean. So when we apply this flex, there are certain justify content property of this one, justify content. And I'll show you all of them. So for example, there is a space between. If I apply space between, you will see that these three have this spaces in between. And now if I want to just stretch that one, you will see that what happens. Okay, I will just right now what I'll do is that I will take away this width. Why? Because it's just not making it very clear. So if I just take away, you see that when I am squeezing my document, these three sections are on their own places. Are you guys looking at? This is the flexible model that we are talking about. So this is called space between. There are other view values as well for this one. So I'll check that one. And there is space around. If you say space around, what will happen? So now we have this model. They have these two values, which are like around. They have this space going on. Are you guys getting that? Now this is becoming flexible. This is becoming very nice now. Okay. And there is one more that we can just use over here, and that might we will just stick with it. It's called space evenly. Space evenly. If I hit save that one, so now if you see that, now you see that they are remaining at the different place. Space evenly. Even space should be there. Now, a very important concept. You know that every section represents one ID. If I take that ID and I want to work on something, it means I'm working on that particular one. So if I say 1, I just want to work on the one ID. Now see, flexbox is a very important feature. If I say flex colon 1, what does that mean? It says to the element, so I'm applying this style to what? The section 1 only. So what it says to this section 1, that whatever space is available, occupy that. Do you see that? Do you see that? The 1 is occupying maximum space over here. Are you guys getting that? Whatever space is available, the section 1 will occupy that. Why? Because I have given this to section 1, which has an ID 1 over here. Now let's talk about others. Why not just do that with the others as well? So if I say 2, you also apply except whatever space is available. So now if you see here that 1 and 2 are occupying maximum space. Are you looking at it? If space increases, they both increase. If space decreases, they both decrease, but they are always small, greater than this section 3. Is that making sense to everyone? Now, if you give 1, like 1 means 1/3 you can occupy, 1/3 you can occupy, right? And if I do the same with the other, like the 3, and I say flex 1, now you see that all 3 will occupy equal space always. Now, are you understanding? To make a responsive site, at least to start with some responsiveness. If I come over here, and if I come in my section 1, and if I write here lorem 1000, for example, so I have got some text over here, which is going all the way to the bottom, and I can handle that, all those kind of things later on. But if I go back over here, and I go to my section 2 as well, I go to section 2, and again, I do that lorem again, lorem 1000. So now I have some text in section 2 as well, which is going over here. And I want to show you something very interesting. And then I go to the section 3, and I go again lorem 1000, and I hit save. So there is text over here in both of the places. You know what I mean? So there's a text over there. Now I can play with this one. So first of all, in one is the flex, #1 is the flex one, but I can do a text align justify. So for example, if I want to justify the text, you see that text is all justified with it, and I can apply this feature to all 3 1. Text will look more good now. The other thing that should be impressive is that if my area goes maximum, they go maximum. If my area goes, I start squeezing my document. Do you see that it's squeezing all the text over there? Are you understanding that one? This flexible model will go according to our view, like horizontally. If it is like this, if I just do this, it means that it is just occupying this area. If I just make it like this, it will just occupy all the area over here. Making sense, everyone? Now we can do lots of wonderful things. And again, if you want to really see how responsive my website is, you go to inspector and you look at this one at a different area. So for example, if I go and I say iPhone SE will show my page like this. Samsung Galaxy S8 will show like this. Surface Pro 7 will show my website like this. Samsung Galaxy A51 will look like my website like this. So whenever you create a website, always look into these different areas. You see, Nest Hub Max will show my website like this. Now, how interesting it has become. I can now just play with all these values, and I know that they are quite flexible, and they will just move according. This is some text which is coming over here, and now you can play with this text. You can do lots of other things. And if you check here, you can see at different view areas how my website will look like. This is a very nice feature of this one, Samsung Galaxy 20 Ultra. My web page will look like this. Am I audible to everyone? Looks like my internet connection had a Kirandeep, am I audible and clear? Okay, you say. Oh yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So this is typically what we are talking about, that this is our box model that we have. Right? So Flexbox model. So Flexbox model is a very interesting one. And if you really want to learn Flexbox model, I'll give you a very interesting game. Flexbox Froggy. And I would like you to just, I'll give you a 5 minutes break, and I would like you guys to just, play this game. If you go to this URL, flexboxfroggy.com, Flexbox and because, this is just because I have opened it many a time. So it is just, level 3. If I just, so now it gives a very nice effect thing. So justify content we have talked about. So if I say justify content, right? And if I say, for example, there were different values. Justify content. There were different values. If I say space evenly, you see that it comes over here. If I say flex end, so there are different values, and you will study those values. If I say flex end, now the frog reaches to its lily pad. Are you getting that? Now, if you are done with that, you go to the next level. So for next level, it will ask, okay, what to do. So for example, I say justify content. For example, flex start. If I say flex start, no, not working. If I say flex end, no, it's still not reaching the word. If I say justify content center, now they reach to their lily pad. Tushar, are you getting that one? And everyone? This is a Flexbox Froggy game that will need. I'll give you around maybe 10 minutes right now. Just go, because it has given just hints over here. At the top, it will give hint, and it has different levels. So when we come back after the break, after 10 minutes, I will ask how many levels you have covered over here. You see, you have to write the code and take the frogs to the lily pad. You know what I mean? So these are 24 levels. See who can complete how much. So I will be expecting you to hear from you, like how many levels you have covered. So let's take a 10 minutes break from now. This is 5:53 in my clock, so I'll be back at 6:03 around, and I will ask you that how many levels you have covered. Is that making sense to everyone? So let's take a 10 minutes break. for froggy game. And again, those who are looking at the video, they should also do that over here. And I will just pause the recording over here, stop the sharing, and pause the recording here, and then we'll resume after 10 minutes, right? Resume recording. So what we are doing, first of all, I will just share this code with all of you, and this code will be with you. I will be applying CSS to make it something like this. This looks a very nice one, where there are different fonts. I've told you that we can use multiple fonts over here. We'll bring one picture over here as well. We'll just apply these kind of things. If you see that we have got that pseudo selectors also applied, which I showed in the last class. There is a drop cap letter over here as well. And the font looks very different from this one. The font looks very catchy to the eyes, and this article looks all good in its style. So we have to just do that. Right. So what I'll do is that I will share, first of all, I'll just share this code with you. And this is the starting code that I'm using. So I'll share this code with you guys. Rather, I will click and share a file with you. So let me know when you are able to see that file. I'm just sharing that file with you guys. And it was winter code 310 and article start. Now let me know if you are able to access that article start.html successfully. Can you guys open this document like this? Yes, let me know if you are able to download this one properly. Okay, that's wonderful. So Prashad says he has done that. Anyone else other than Tushar? Anyone able to just do that? Okay, Harjot has done that. That's wonderful. I'm looking for maybe one more feedback. Oh, Jesus has done that. That's wonderful. So now you have got this document, and I will attach a CSS with it, and I will try to convert this document into something like this. You know what I mean? So what I'll do, I will also copy this all code from here, and I'll go to my right now working folder. It's an older working folder that I'm working on. So if I go lecture code, this is our week 10, and here I'll create a new folder, by the way, and I'll call it article, as I have done over there. Article, and inside that, so I'll select that folder. So inside that, I will call it an index.html. You can call it anything you want. I will call it index.html, and I will paste all the code from there. So now it should be very clear that now I have got this document that I will play. Oh, I just by mistake closed that one again. Right. So I want to change that, and I want to show you that there were more than that. Few things were more than that. I'll just show you that. Winter 10 article. I'll show you that. I'll run that one and leave that running, because I would be needing that every now and then. The completed document, right? And that is called index.html. Okay, now it's running that. Okay, so now I'll go to that folder. So if you see this document, this is a very nice document, and what it is doing, it has some multiple features that I'll tell you. So for example, first of all, let's make it 100%. So you see that this is a document. If I just start squeezing the document, do you see it's going in a very bad color? And I'll tell you that why I just applied for that color. But the main thing is, if you see that we are getting a menu icon over here. The changing color is not required, by the way. It's something I would have discussed that before for understanding purposes. But anyhow, if you see that when I squeeze that, some changes happen. My text comes in between, and the image goes to near to the border. There is a menu icon that appears over here, and there are lots of things that are happening. Are you guys getting that? When I squeeze it, the color changes and the some setting changes. Are you looking at the responsive nature of this one? So we are basically trying to produce this kind of output, not exactly this one, because I will not be changing the background color, because just for understanding purpose at that time. And I will be just, doing what? I will be just, applying that one and applying and trying to do the same thing that we have been doing over here. So now let me open up my current folder, and I will work in that CSS Excel. Everyone is clear now? Because I am going into this week 10, an article, and here I will apply a CSS and try to make this, this page, which is like this, into something which is like this. You know what I mean? Okay. So let's talk about this document. And if you see here, this is an HTML document, and I have to apply the CSS to convert it to like this. So right now it looks like this. And it has to go to this, right? Now, to take it to that particular thing, the first of all, I would like to just connect to an to a CSS file. So I'll call that style.css. And not only that, I'll connect my index.html document to this file. Style.css. Okay. And I will run this document as well, because I'm not running. I'm running this, by the way. I'm sorry, I'm running. So I will just, connect it, and I'll see that if this is working. So I'll say body, just to check, background color, blue. If I hit save, okay, it does not changes its color. And why does not it changes its color? I am saying style.css. It should be connected to that one. href is style.css. Am I running the same file? Hopefully. Just connect. Just for the reason I'm just running. Oh yeah. So this is working. I don't know why it was not working. So this is my document, and CSS is working, right? So I don't want this one. Rather, I want something different. Okay. The first thing that I want to do is that I want to apply this particular, or rather, if I look at this one, this can be any nice font on the internet. This font can be any one font that I want to use. And the font that I would like to use over here is the Roboto font. I told you this Roboto font. We have just, I think we have used that before. If you have looked at the first part, I have used this Roboto font already in that one. And if you see there, how to bring up those fonts, I have discussed over there. So this is Roboto font, and whatever you want to just select from out of this, you can just select that one, and you get their values over here. So for example, if I just right now, if I just take away this dancing script from here, and this is the Roboto font, and I want to just use that one. So how would I do that? I will go to the import, and I'll copy this import from the Google font, and I'll come to my document, and I'll hit over here as this one. You know what I mean? That I want to use this font in the whole body. Are you guys getting that one? So for whole body, I want to have this font in my document. So for example, if I come, and now how to apply that on the body? I'll say body, right? Font family, and for the font family, I'll have to write Roboto over here, because I want to have Roboto, and after that we say sans serif. Hit save. You see my document has changed quite a number of times. Like it's now very different. It does not look very pretty, but again, I can just make it look pretty. Or maybe I have another font. Let me see if I want to use the other one. There is a font EB Garamount. Let me just see that. I will remove this from here. And I want to find out another font that is EB Garamount font. Yes, this one. I want to use that. So go to Google Fonts. EB Garamount will appear over here. Yeah, this looks much more good. So I select this style. Again, I go to import. I copy this import statement over here. And rather than this Roboto, I'll just replace that one. So I want to have, like, I'll just show you. This font is coming like this. So if I come over here and I just write over here that I want to have font family, it is just applying the sans serif, and I say that I want to have, for example, EB, and how to write that this EB Garamount, it will be showing over here. So like this, EB Garamount serif. So I'll copy this one, I'll paste it, and I'll show you that what happens. So if I come over here and hit save, you see now it is EB Garamount font. looks a bit smaller, and I will just talk about that one later on. But right now I've just applied that one, and my whole body will have this document over here. You know what I mean? Now, another very important thing for the body, you see that body over here is basically offset from the top and the left. And what property we have discussed about that? We have discussed margin. If I apply a margin of 40 pixel on all sides, 40 pixel on all sides, see my document, how does it look like when I hit save? You guys getting that? I have just applied the body should be equal to 40 pixel away from that. Make sense, everyone? Now, the font that is used over here, this is basically called Erwin font. So I want to have Erwin font over here, maybe. So I will search for this Erwin font, Erwin heading font. So I want to have Erwin heading font. So we'll be bringing up different values, different things over here, and we'll be just, and we'll be working with that one. So Erwin heading, these does not look good. This looks good, this one. So I'll just select that one. Why can I select that? Okay, just let me check. Erwin heading. Do we have that in Google Fonts? Google Fonts. Browse fonts. So you can, find out that one. So I want to have Erwin heading. Is that a font? No, Google does not have that font. It means, yes, I'll have to use that from somewhere else because I want to have that font typically. So Erwin heading font. Okay, Erwin heading is there. Share, add to favorites, demo. The regular font, I have to look at the regular font over here. Not really. It's not giving the right thing. I have to just copy it somehow. Okay, Erwin heading. I'll click on that one. Yeah, so here it is. So it says that you can use this import statement into your document, and you will get that one over there. So let me see that. We can just import it like this in my CSS. Copy that one and go to the CSS and do that import over here. Right. It will work fine, but I don't want to use this because this. So rather than we have multiple ways, we can link, we can have the link as well, and we can use it as a CSS link. I'll show you. I copy this one and I go to my document, and rather than going in CSS, I can go to the HTML, and after that linking, I can say that link this to this one, this font, Erwin font as well. You know what I mean? So you can do it anyways. You can connect it over here or connect it over there. Are you getting that? Now, I want to apply. So what I want over here? Let me just see. I want to apply this Erwin font to two headings, H1 and H2. So this basically looks like H1, and this looks like H2. Why? Because you see that there is mentioned H2 is the first one, like because the smaller one, and H1 is the other one. So if I go to style and I want to apply a typical style to both of them, I will say H1, H2, and comma. So I will say here font family should be Erwin, the font that I have downloaded. And if that is not available, do any sans serif. So if I come back over here and if I run that, it hits save. Oh, sorry, not here. I have to hit save here. If I hit save, so it is not accepting that one because it's not taking Erwin font. I'll have to just check that why it's not accepting the Erwin font, or I think I'm missing the link of Erwin font somewhere. Let me just copy that again that I copied before as well. So it is just coming in this way. Yeah, so now it shows that one. So maybe the link is not working over here, but you can just check which one is working. So now I have got this font, and this font looks like more like this one. The other story is that they are separate, like sizing and everything, but I'll work on that. So if I go to the style, H1 and H2 both are now this one. Now I want to work on H2 only. H2 is the first one at the top. So first thing I want to do that I want to say that color should be red. Right? The color is red. Looks like good. Now the font size. font size should be smaller, even though it's an H2, but it should be smaller. So to make it smaller, do you remember those who have looked at my first class video? So 0.7 RAM, if I say 0.7 RAM, I want to go it 70% of that one. You know what I mean? So now this is basically now looking more like this one. Not the H1. H1 is different still. And I will just, talk about this H1 as separately. Does that make sense to everyone? Now H1, H2, and H3. Now there is a problem, and I want you to just understand that one. This H2 and H1 both are coming inside the header. You know what I mean? They are both coming inside the header. If I just apply style to H1 and H2, if I have any other H1 in my document, maybe supposedly I say over here, and I say Seneca, something like that, I write it over here. You see, every H1 and H2 will have that one. Do you remember the contextual selector? Rather than writing head 1, I can write header space H1 and header space H2. Are you guys getting that one? Contextual selector. And what is the benefit of that? Now see here, what is the benefit of that? If I hit save, now this Seneca, this should not accept, that one. Oh, I've done to the H2. I'm sorry. No, H1 and H2 both. And I have said that it should be header inside H1 and header inside H2. What is this font? Why it is just showing still that one? H1. Okay, if I just, just for a second, if I take it away, right? So I have just said that header H1, comma, header H2. So I think I'm doing the right way, but let me just check that once. Font family L1, header H2 color red, and that one is. So if I hit save, and now if I come over here, and if I write anything, any H1 over here, another H1. Okay, so it is coming in that, see, you see that this is not coming in this font, rather it is coming in that font, the body font. So that is contextual selector. I want to have that contextual selector, and I want to. Now next thing, you see that it is very much limited in size. It is not going all the way to the page. So what is that? I'll just come over here, and I will say that header and the main both should have a typical width over here. And I don't want this H1 over here, by the way. Where is the other H1 that I introduced? Oh, I don't find that. Oh, I'll remove that. Okay. So now if you see here that I want to have that one. So I'll go to the styles and I'll say header and main both should have a width or maximum width. That is called maximum width. I'll tell you. Maximum width is 500 pixel. What does that mean? They should not go anywhere above 500 pixel. If they're going maximum, it should go maximum to the 500 pixel. You see here, they will not go above 500 pixel. They will squeeze, but they won't go over there. And if you see here that it looks like more like this one. Now, one thing is remaining for H1. I have to work on H1 because H1 font is much bigger than that one. So I'll come to this one and I'll say header H1. What I want its font size to be bigger one. So I will say, for example, 3 RAM. For example, 3 RAM, I'm just applying. 3 RAM looks a bit nearer, or maybe let's make it a bit lesser than that. 2.8 RAM. That looks good, right? That looks good. But the intensity of H1 is too much. So I will come over here and I'll tell you that how to make less, how to make that. We say font weight. If I say 100, 100 is one of the values that will make its font weight very light. So font weight has different values, 100, 200, 300, 400, whatever, and we can implement any of the value that you want to apply over here. Makes sense that now my font is basically the header font is typically now it's downwards, right? Okay, just give me a second. I'll take a call and I'll be back. Second. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so what we have done is that we have just tried to make these kind of things, and this looks very interesting now that my font is typically in that form, and that is now. If I come back over here, this font looks very different, very simple, like by Alan Turing, whatever the font is. And here, if you see, oh sorry, I'm not sharing my screen. I'm sorry. Is it available now, Kirandeep? Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, so what we'll do is that we'll try to just now we see that the font of this word is very different, and you see that text is also different because I've been using different shapes of that one. So I'll just date this for today because just to show you the date. So July 15 and 2022, right? So I'll just do that one. So if you see here that the font is different for this one. So I will basically what I can do is that you see that author has been given an ID over here. So I'll go over here and I will just run this one, and I'll say author. And for example, if I say font family, I want to change the font family of the author because author is right now coming in this different family. So I'll say just for example, Georgia, if we have, or maybe Times New Roman. I'll take this one, right, and hit save. So you see that now my font is a bit different over here. And also I want it to be bold a bit well. So font weight is bold over here. Right, so font weight is bold. So it looks a bit more like that one. Make sense, everyone? Okay. So now we have talked about lots of things. And now I want to bring a picture over here. So if you want to bring a picture of a mountain over here, again, I will say go to unsplash.com and let's find out a mountain picture. Let's take a mountain picture over here, and any mountain picture that seems good for this one. Let's take this one, for example, and I'll download this picture, small size. So it's in my folder now, downloads. I will just rename it mountain, for example, and I'll copy it over there. Control X, and I want to copy it into my folder. So now if you see here that I have got this mountain picture over here, this mountain, right? Now I would like to bring this picture on my page, and again, as it is as the picture is over here, after the HR. So I will go to my document, and there is an HR, and before that, I want to bring my picture over here. Okay, I won't bring that picture in IMG. Rather, we have a figure element in our CSS. We have a figure element. It's not recognizing that figure, so I'll just create that figure element. Figure element is a very interesting one. You know what the figure element does? We can have the figure. So inside that figure element, I can just come and I say img src is equal to mountain.jpg, right? And right now I'm not just giving anything else. So it's just going out of that one. Don't worry about that. But I will just handle that one. So I'll just try to bring that picture over here. You know what I mean? So this picture is going right now out of this one, and we'll just do that. We'll fix that one. But I will just see that how I can just do that. So now if I come over here in my styles, and let's try to first of all settle the sizing of this one. If I write img, which is coming over there, I have an img. So I say the width of img should be 100%. I don't want it to go out of its limits. So width is equal to width 100%. Oh, I'm giving that wrong. You see that now it has come inside that one. You know what I mean? It won't go above its parent. Okay. The other thing that we see over here, and that's a very important thing, that I can give a fig caption to my figure. When in HTML we can give a fig caption to our figure. And what is that fig caption I want to give? So see here, fig caption. So if you come over here, you see that we need to we need to give the mountain picture taken by a photographer, source, etc. So I can just give all this text. I'll copy this text over here, and I'll give all this in my fig caption. So now you see here, the all text is coming in over here, and now in that picture there is few things to few things to work on. In this week caption, first of all, I want to make its text smaller. The text looks a bit bigger, right? So I'll come over here in my styles, and I would like to work on week caption. Right? So I say font style. I want to add an italic font style as well. Font style italic. You see that it goes italic. Italic looks like good. Font size, I want it to be 0.8 RAM, for example. A very smaller one. You see that picture, this credit picture should be a very smaller one. You see here, looks more like that one. Now, interestingly, this will be a linked one. So see here that source XYZ photographer. So I want to have that linked one. So if I come over here, and if I just give a span and ID to this one. So I say, for example, span, and I give an ID of credit. And I copy this source, not source, rather I will copy this one. I will cut this one into this one, but I'll cut the span over here as well. You know what I've done? I have just gave this XYZ into a span. And why I have done that, I hope you understand. Because I want to give it some particular separate thing. Right? And not only that, I want to give a link as well. If you see here that it's a link as well. If I show you, it's a link as well. You see? So I've just brought that one and I want to give it a link. So I'll come over here and I'll say href is equal to, so again, I don't know where I have to do that, but I will just put that XML photographer over here, XYZ photographer over here. Now if you come over, you see that now it's coming over here. But if you see again, it is not showing any underline before that, and it's showing underline. So you remember we have talked about in our previous class, in my starting class, I've said I want to go to the credit part, and there is an anchor tag over there. So make its text decoration equal to none. Make its text decoration is equal to none, and make its color a gray, a light shade of gray. So you see that credit A. Oh, it's not gone away. Why? I have dot credit A. I am using the right thing. Credit has been given as ID is equal to credit, and inside that we have an A. It should work fine. Let me just check that again. Oh, what I'm doing wrong? Anyone? I know my mistake here, but I would like you to just find out that mistake. It's an ID, and for ID, what should I do? It has to be an hash, right? I'm using a class, right? By the way, dot represents a class. Now you see here. Now it is working fine. Now you remember the pseudo one. So I'll come over here and I'll say credit A : hover. When user takes cursor over that, make its text decoration underline, and color should be changed to black, for example. Now you see here. And also font style, I don't want to apply a font style. I want it to be straightish one. Font style and normal. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be italicized. So you see that, and rather it should be over here as well. Font style should be normal. I don't want its font style to be italicized, because it does not look good. So you see here, and black color does not look. I can make it red, for example, just to be very clear what is going on. You see here. You see here, when I take my cursor over it, it changes into that. Are you guys getting that one? So we have just almost completed till this part. We have got this one XYZ photographer that we can just do that, and it is just changing that one. And I will be just doing what? I will be just stopping here, and I'll write a comment over here, because I will be continuing from here. Stopping in week 10, because we have got next week we'll just talk about more about this one. Stopping in week 10, part 2. So it's for everyone, so that everyone recognizes what's going on, where we have stopped in that typical situation. You know what I mean? So we have just stopped over here, and we will just continue working on this document. And what we have to do, just remember that we are trying to imitate this document. And we have reached to this position right now. that now our document looks like this, and the original document looks like this. You see over here, picture looks a bit smaller, and I can just handle it later on. But we have just worked till the picture over here. Make sense, everyone? Now I will continue and complete that in the week 11 part 1. And of course, you will get the recording. And in that next week, we will again do a CSS practice, and I will try to imitate some more websites, and you will really enjoy that those websites, right? Make sense, everyone? Any questions thus far from anyone? Any questions? Okay, Kirandeep says no questions. Anyone else? Okay, that's good. Let's